JanBask training. Learn and grow.
Let's going on to the introduction session to be a business analyst. What all we'll be learning today in this training session? We'll be talking about analysis. What is analysis? What is business analysis? What is the difference between analysis and business analysis? What is IT business analyst? What are all the different objectives? What are all the different time frames and the techniques that we'll be using in? What are all the business analysis softwares? What are all the business analyst skills, and what's the career path? So we'll be overviewing what is business analyst, the career paths, and the analysis techniques today. Working on the first, what do you mean by analysis and what do you mean by business analysis? So let me tell you now, what is analysis? An examiner who examines the data, facts, and understand the cause and effects of the relationship. That is like providing the basics of problems in solving or decision making techniques are called analysis. Whereas the business analyst is the practice of enabling the organization context by defining needs, recommended solutions, delivery to stakeholders. You did some analysis, you come as an outcome of it, but that was helping making some decisions. Whereas as a business analyst, you identified some facts and figures from an organization context, define the needs, and recommend a solution out of it. Let me help you. Coming up with what is analysis. Suppose you have this doc over there. That's a Word doc. So guys, before we do that, just one more thing I want to add. Like I will be using certain examples like that so that I can better help you understand. That's going to be a basic day-to-day activities, use cases are going to use it so that you can better understand what do you mean by analysis, how we're going to get into these things. So consider this as one of the email or a letter that's been written out by some Robert Doe, right? So you are taking a relook at this document and you analyze what's the data is there and you start finding out certain mistakes. You see the title is there. You see there are some spelling mistakes, comma, separations and all those. And you find out what all the errors are there and what is correct, right? And then you see you highlighted those ones. So this is called analysis. You analyze this doc, identified few issues and problems in these statements and wanted to correct that out. But this is right now only analysis because you only highlighted those, right? This is called analysis. Now talking about business analyst, once you have highlighted these documents or like the errors, how you gonna come up with the outcomes of it is as simple as like some business analysts come up with some errors or issues. Client is looking out for details. You recommend them that these are your issues or the problem statements. And based upon that, I can recommend you a solution that you either need a translator or someone who can help you understand with the sentence formations or like some communication improvement languages. So you identified a problem, that is there you're making mistakes in your like communications and you provided out a solution to it. So that is the difference between analysis and a business analysis. Now talking about what is exactly IT business analyst, right? So some people have this confusion that business analyst and IT business analyst are like same things. No. So if you are in business analysis, that means you are analyzing data, you're finding out all those recommended solutions, and you're helping them with the analytical understanding or the result oriented solutions or recommending solutions. That's a business analyst. Going with what is IT business analyst? As someone who analyze the organization business domains, document the business and access the business models and integrate it out with the technology. So with IT coming in picture, you are integrated out with the technology part of the solution. So now earlier you were giving the recommendations. Whatever now the recommendation as a IT business analyst, that will be completely or with a vanilla touch of a business tag to it or the technology which you're working on or the recommended solutions, be it is like financial or you are there into the e-commerce world. So based upon that, what is the technologies that's being used these days? We will be helping them provide with those such solutions. As I mentioned, the business analyst does the same role. As you mentioned, we're going to interact with the client. We're going to have stakeholders management and all those things. And post that, we start eliciting requirements and we further convert them into BRDs and FRDs. Nowadays, we have started even using all the user stories directly just to avoid like a lot of documentation stuff. So now, as I mentioned, in an IT business analyst, you will be putting up the vanilla taste of a technology tag to it. Earlier, you were just doing it as an analysis and you're recommending them solutions. That could be a simple like a balance sheet or could be a simple financial stuff. You simply analyze the data and you recommend that these are the solution or these are the mistakes. Being as an IT business analyst, you are tagged to some business domain, right? In an IT, like there will be one or the other, either will be healthcare, you will be into financial, energy, or any of the other sectors. So whatever the recommending solutions now you're going to come up, that will be tagged to business and technology. With the help of a business and technology, you will be recommending those solutions instead of just giving them the solution based upon the work that you have in place. And that solution will be based upon how your industry is right now going in, or how what is the recommended technology these being used these days, right? Going with like certain tools or working with certain new technology that's been used, we are moving forward. Okay, now coming on to the objectives of business analysis. So talking about operations and the scopes of the problem, we'll be talking about analyzing the problem statements from different angles and perform the gap analysis. I will be coming up with all these gap analysis in our upcoming slides. Moving on, like post analysis, we're going to have preparing some use cases, BRD, which is called as business requirement documents. We'll be even creating certain specification SRS documents. I'm going to help you with certain documents for your review so that you can get into those details as well. Based upon systems, you need to create certain prototypes, wireframes that we'll be going with. These are all part of the analysis that we're going to further go into and dig further. Large projects, data process, and needs to be created. Interaction with technology teams help you understand the technical aspect, like what is going to be the solution and what technology we are working in, and conduct usability and feasibility testing around it. So being as a business analyst, these are your recommended highly professional goals, certain like plan and document requirements. That's among one of the most important responsibility of a BA, be it you are in any industry, be it you are working in an IT, non-IT world. Planning, documenting requirements is one of your biggest role or like the one of the most important responsibility of a BA. Gathering and preparing business and jotting it up into requirements, that's another important role. Performing certain types of testing, working with QAs to help understand how the business works, what is the domain understanding if that's required, helping them taking up change. You need to keep yourself flexible enough to adopt change during the implementation, or if we come across any kind of market scenarios or any change in that. Analyzing and model requirements with the help of BPM and notation, certain other like prototypes, and creating those understand so that your teammates can help better understand the business logics. So what all the business analyst core concepts are. So the core concepts are like change, a controlled transformation of an organization. What is the change that brings up? What is the need of a problem statement? What all the different opportunities are there in that problem statements? What is the potential value that can be bringed out and that will help solutions to the stakeholders? So being as a business analyst, this is even one of your important responsibility to manage your stakeholders. So by stakeholder, I mean your clients who's coming up with business with you. They're going to have interactions with you and they're going to simply come up, hey, I have this problem statement. I want to be like market giant, or I would be the number one player in the market, but I'm facing these like of a problem statement. Can you help me out getting this resolved? Or can you help me out with the best technology solution so that I can overcome such problems? So you need to make sure you are helping understand the business from the clients, what they really want, what's their need is basically that is even important to understand first. Post that, we'll be recommending them certain solutions based upon like what's their need are and what value the solution that we are proposing, what value it adds to the customer. That needs to be taken care as well. What all the different stakeholders are, we need to even identify that. If you're interacting with 5 different peoples, right, or maybe 10 different peoples, it depends upon what kind of a project you're working with. You need to make sure that you're interacting with the stakeholders, their demands, and what kind of a problem you're looking into those. Then we have context as part of the environment, like who encompasses what all the different change are there, and what is the change that brings to that context. So these kinds of concept models are core for a business analyst. So let's move on to the business analysis level. So let's first talk about the enterprise level of a business. So let me first take you to enterprise levels. Okay, let's understand what do we mean by this enterprise segments, program, and project levels. So as an enterprise or as a company, you can say there are some vision, missions, and goals of a company. You need to first, on a high level, understand the needs of the business. What are your organization vision and goals? On what principles you work upon? How your things are going in? What all the business needs are there? What is the scope of an enterprise? All needs to be validated correctly. You need to analyze, you need to have your basic study, what is being asked for, what do you mean by enterprise, what's your enterprise vision is, what's your working culture, and how you want to get into that business. So for that, you need to analyze what's your enterprise is really into, what all their relationships and the enterprise business are, creating and maintaining documents related to those in the form of BRDs and FRDs, and developing a roadmap for an enterprise that how you want to target on each stage, or either just having a roadmap and creating milestones around it. So any enterprise, beats it's like any organization on a high level has some enterprise that further divides into multiple segments. Then from segment levels, we're going to have some programs that's been ongoing. And on every program, we have some projects. So this is how the company usually works. That on a high level, you have different segments. By segments, you can say that one is working into the financial world, the other one is working into the healthcare world. So in the financial, there are two programs going in, like one related to credits and the other one related to debits or like trades. Then it's further divided into multiple projects. So this is how the enterprise works basically. So let me now show you one realistic example around the same. Okay. So let me first tell you being as a business analyst, how that flows goes in basically. Just a short understanding for like as of now. Being as a business analyst, you're going to analyze the company domains or the business, document the process, in the form of PRDs, FRDs, or nowadays, if you're working in the agile culture, it's directly on like user stories. Then you're going to analyze the business models. What's the process is all around. You're going to create certain flowcharts, and then you're going to integrate it out with the technology that we are using it. This is how the short flow of a business analyst goes up. Let me now help you explain with the term of enterprise segment and program level that we are talking around the slides. Everybody has heard about the company name called Expedia, correct? That's one of the travel industry's biggest giant there in the market that helps you books your tickets, tourism. Moreover, like it works only on the tourism industry or the travel industry or what. So talking about with an example of what do you mean by enterprise level? So on an enterprise level, you can understand that Expedia is a tourism and a travel industry company. So its enterprise totally works on the tourism and travel industry, especially. The travel industry is further divided into different segments. So this is the segment level layer that this industry has one big domain of travel, other one tourism, and third is ecotourism. So that is your segment level approach. Now moving on to the next we have is program level approach. Under travel, we have certain programs going on, like one related to travel modes. Any sort of travels that you are working from, like traveling from one country to another country due to some religious activities or due to some other like travel issues or like some travel constraints you are traveling in. That's one part of the program. Under tourism, the segment you have multiple programs going on like alternate tourism. Alternate tourism is nothing but that you look for an alternate options for going into like eco world, or you're looking out for some religious activities, or you want to learn more about religions, you're working into alternate tourism. If you're talking about the mass tourism, you're working with a group of persons that want to visit similar place, and like ideally they want to travel alone, or like the backpackers especially, they want to go with a mass tourism but with different other peoples. Then we have ecotourism, that's called as with couples or individual that want to travel alone with some other persons, or you want to go with couples as well. So that is the couple and individual tourism. So I've seen we started with enterprise. Enterprise is further divided into different segment levels, travel, tourism, and ecotourism. That's further divided out into program levels, travel, alternate tourism, mass tourism, and individual tourisms. And we further moved out to project level. So on this project level, you're working in adventure activities, and the mass you're working on cultural activities. So that is on the project level. So this is how the big organizations have divided out their operations so that you guys can work on different projects, on programs, segments, and enterprise level. And this is how your company roles are even divided. Someone sitting at the segment level will be at architecture level. Someone sitting at this program level will be program managers. The most of the people working on the project level will be like the scrum masters, BAs, senior BAs, or like architectures will be there. So based upon the segment layers, will be even the employees are divided accordingly. And we have all CFOs and CEOs over there on the enterprise level that taking a look at every industry or the segment level, how that's performing and how we are generating business out of those. This is a very important like diagram that needs to be understand well, that how the company looks like, how as a BA you need to have your mindset starts working in, that on which level you are working in, when you are dealing with stakeholder, on which segment they are tagged to, which project you are part of, what is their core program levels, right? What is our vision of a company? What is the vision and mission of this project? Where we are there on the segment level, to which industry we are tagged to, because that's going to help you talk about that industry, talk about that stakeholders, what their interest parts, and how that world or that industry or a segment is going outside of the world, what is going new in that area. All those things have to come from a BA. Post you analyze what is your needs and in which program or a project you are working in. Okay, so guys, we are talking around the alternate tourism now. So since we are there on the program level, so on other program levels we have further divided alternate tourism into adventure, scientific, education, and culture. This is how a BA gonna identify like in which program I'm working in, what's its program level, what's its enterprise level or segment level, so that you can learn more about that industry and we can move forward with the more details or more analysis around that world, how that goes in, or whatever the industry that you've been part of or like you've been hired for, you'll be getting more understanding around the same. So let's go back to the slides then. So that's around like the enterprise levels, segment levels. We will be talking about the strategies of the segments, what all will be creating the documents, what are the different elicitations, techniques. And on the program level, we'll be talking about the business processes, relationships, and the programs, how the project impacts, and what will be the different program performances will be there. So these are all the details around what I explained up in the project, that elicitation and detailed functionalities will be talked around in the product levels, ensuring we are meeting up all the solutions of the required product, understanding the project, and start preparing out the documents around the same. So let's talk about one of the frameworks that's been most importantly used and the techniques, which is called as SWOT analysis. Let's start with the first step of how a BA gonna do this analysis. And let's start with the basic analysis called SWOT. As I mentioned, that's the first step for analysis for a BA. When you gonna join any organization, right, being as a fresher, being as for the first time, everybody has to go through that analysis, or one or the other way, beats its project, beats its company, beats its domain, or beats its anything else. You need to go through certain analysis. And one of the most important analysis out of those is SWOT analysis. And as the name suggests, you need to work on these four quadrants, right? So let me explain you what do you mean by SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So S stands for strength, W stands for weakness, O stands for opportunity, and T stands for threats. It's a very powerful technique used by business analysts, both for internal and external of the organizations. Now, what is the importance first of the SWOT? Let's talk about it. Why SWOT is very important? SWOT is something that's been used to answer multiple questions. How it will be there. So first, suppose you just joined the organization, you just joined in, you don't know about the business of the company you're working with or what project you will be part of. So you need to do the SWOT analysis to understand what your project is all about. What is its strength? What is its weakness? What are the trends associated to that? Or what are all the opportunities that are therein? And the most important thing of a SWOT, you can use it in any situation. If you want to analyze yourself even, you can use the SWOT analysis. Like I have an experience for 20 years, I started joining in the BA course What are my strengths? What are my weakness? Talking to Dan, what I think I need to improve upon. What are the opportunities I can see based upon talking with Dan that, hey, I can be into that role of a business analyst as well. What are my weaknesses are like I'm not good in problem solving techniques. I don't have good like mindset of a business, right? And I'm not thinking from generating business. These can be your weaknesses. So this is one of the important SWOT analysis that's been used highly there in the market by most of the BA. And that's your first step to be part of the analysis that a BA does in their day-to-day activities. Talking about the individual quadrants, strength is characterize the business or project that gives advantage over. What all the strengths of a business are, any project, any other initiated details that's been given up. What are its strength? What are its weakness? What is the business weakness are there? What are the disadvantages of the competitors? What all the different projects are there? Opportunities, elements in the environment. What is the business objects? Exploit to the advantages. What are all the different threats associated to it? Is there any environmental issues? Are there any troubles? Or are there any business or project issues? The use of SWOT analysis is to help understand the position of the organization that helps you recommend capabilities of an organization needs or a business needs to conclude whether that feasibility is there to initiate based upon the results or analysis. So let me now show you another practical example of it. So this is how usually it's all depends upon like what slides your company uses it. So generally we goes with analysis of any company, right? So suppose you will be given certain one of the projects where you're working, started working as a BA. You join your organization for the day one or day two. You're given some e-commerce project and you need to start working on it. So you're on the day one or two and you need to analyze your product. There are some help documents given to you or certain business requirement documents been given to you. Now, as a first step, you need to go with the SWOT analysis. So these are your four quadrants on which you need to work and analyze what is the project that you're working in, what are its strong points, what are its USP, what are its marketing techniques and advertisements, what are its strength of it, what are the weakness of this project. Do I have a big competitors, right? Are competitors better than us? What is our market share? Who all our customers are? Is the cost increasing or the profits are decreasing? What kind of these weaknesses are there? So you're going to analyze on that. So when I'm saying project, you can do it for any stuff, whether be it you want to analyze any company, be it you analyze your own company, be it you need to analyze your project, or any sort of problem statements you are into, you can use the SWOT analysis. Then talking about what will be the different opportunities there, like adoption of new technology, right? Or you want to make a significant change, something in terms of technology that's going to outperform in the market, or what will be the future prospect of that? What will be the future of that business? Or what will the future you're going to bring it up? What all the recommended solutions you can let them know? What all the threats will be there? Are you using the outdated technology? Or is there any increase in competition going in? Or are there any fluctuations there in the market or government policies that can impact this business going forward? So giving you one practical example of it, everybody I think have heard about the biggest car luxury manufacturing company, BMW. Now, just consider being as a BA, I've been got a job in one of the manufacturing companies. I'm working with Tesla. So they help me like, hey Dipesh, hi Dan, we want to further work into like analyze and let me know what's going in the market right now. And tell me something that one of my competitors is BMW. What is their current position there in the market? Or what exactly the BMW is? I want to know about its complete profile. I know the brand is super luxury. They are working into like the luxury brand manufacturing of BMW cars, but I want to know more about it. And he just left out. And now I'm there as a BA. How are going to use this SWOT analysis? So this is like the basic product that you have in place where you're going to have certain format. Format totally depends upon your organization, how they went out with the format. So that may differ. But what I did is I created out a SWOT analysis. How I did that, just take a look at it. First, let's talk about, I have to do a SWOT analysis on BMW. So let's go with the first. What segment is stacked to? It's stacked to the luxury segment of car manufacturing that affluence customers. What is the target group that's been? So it targets towards the rich professionals and affluent families. What is the position right now there in the market of BMW? BMW's position as the eco-friendly and technology advantage company, which influence the innovation in the product. So that's a short description about what is BMW. What all the different portfolios they have. They have their 3 series, 5 series, X3, X5, and X6 series. These are their latest portfolios that they have in their markets under the brand BMW. Talking about their first segment, what are their actual strengths are. So these are like BMW is known for product innovation, technology. It's known for their luxury sedans or like sports cars. They have the equipped with iDrive technology that's used for information systems, collect functionality informations and different other capabilities. They have a great style and elegant interiors that makes like customers to buy that product because of its elegant looks. It's among one of the excellent brands, and that goes with mid-segment luxury brands involving motorsports, shopping gears, and sponsorship of global events. Around like close to 1 lakh employees are working with BMW and approximate 1.5 million cars per annum they are producing in. So you've seen, I've gone on multiple points. Not only about just about cars, I'm talking about their employees. I'm talking about it's a big brand in what all countries it's there. Brazil, US, India, South Africa, Japan, or what all they are manufacturing in, what all their different brands are, what all their strengths are, to which target customers they are looking. So I've covered everything in their strength part, right? Weaknesses. What are their weaknesses are? So now when you're doing SWOT analysis, what's it's bringing in basically? So with the SWOT analysis, that brings what's your thought process are, what's your analysis skills are, what's your analytical skills are, how your mindset works in problem solving techniques, how you're finding out opportunities in every problem statement, how you're recommending solutions, how you compare one business with another, how you think about where you stand in the market in terms of business. Since we have talked about the strength, let's even talk about what the weaknesses are. The strong competitors of the luxury brand means BMW has constant fight with the market share because there are other good big brands that are big in competitors with them. Like BMW is having a competition with Audi, Tesla, and there are multiple other Jaguar, Land Rover, and multiple other brands are in the market that puts up as strong competitors, and they are equally good and being demanded well in the luxury segments as well. The other one is like being a popular brand. Minor conversations are blown out of propositions that affects the image. So you need to even make sure who's your brand ambassador is, what ideology he follows up, what the things. There should not be any negativity that goes out for the company, or all sort of weaknesses that comes in for a popular brands like that. What all the different opportunities you see for a BMW or what their organization thinks of may come in future, like increase in the portfolio product, they're like diversifying out their product. Reputation in many years of the existence will be acquiring new customers. That's their opportunities they are thinking into. More elevation and influence to premium global brands like BMW, or like expanding automobile world to competitors with opportunities brings to the BMW. And similarly, let's talk about their threats. Increasing fuel costs led to people using the public transport more extensively. That's their business problem. Competitors are big automobile giants like BMW market shares, and there are other automobile giants that are trying to dig into the well of others. There are product innovations and engineers by competitors. So these are certain of the threats, or that could be even industry threats. So talking about who all their competitors are, like Audi, Mercedes, Volkswagens, and Toyota. So now have you seen, I have gathered all this information from where? I gone into the company's filing documents, like their annual reports, their annual magazines, few advertisements, industry analysis, looked into other companies, similar super brand companies, and analyzed all these data and gathered it. And now I have a huge data there on Google, right? Or any of the tools that's been provided out by your like company as well, right? Based upon that, I gathered all the data, analyze what is important for me and what is not important for me, what is important from the perspective of a business, what is not important from a perspective of a business, gathered all those informations and put it up in the point format like that. On all four quadrants I worked on, like strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, combine them together and put it up in the SWOT analysis, like this diagram or the format. And now I'm gonna send it across that to my company or like my senior stakeholders to understand that what is how the BMW works in the market. And with that, he's gonna get a better understanding around what our competitors are doing in, what are they doing in, or what are their future strengths or opportunities they are looking into that area. Similarly, Be it you are in IT, you will be getting any e-commerce project, you're getting any healthcare product, you need to do the similar stuff. So you will be using those analysis techniques in any sort of problem statement that will be used out. Yeah. So on more to add to it, so once I have the clear problem statements, right? So when I'm creating all these documents, right, in every quadrant, whatever I'm putting into, I need to make sure like what is the industry that I'm focusing on, where this company stands in that industry, what all their strengths and weaknesses are, what are their future plans, where they are going in, and again with the thought process where my company standing in even needs to be with that mindset. I need to put down my points should be valid, because once this doc will be reviewed by someone, they will be comparing out everything with what we are there in the market. Either we are up on that, either we are low on that. Are we not into the luxury brand? Are they are into the luxury brand? Do they have a good portfolio like of 10 cars or 12 cars? Do I don't have that portfolio? Or sort of points when you are adding it, see, all the points may be valid, but is you need to think from that perspective that whether it needs to be added to this document is important or not. Because you will have a lot of data, but you need to make sure what all 5 or 4 points that needs to come an opportunity that needs to be analyzed. As I mentioned in all my discussions, that when you are creating all these SWOT analysis, right, first of all, take like 5 minutes and understand what is my problem statement. First, understand what is my problem statement. That I need to analyze a company. It's related to what industry? Okay, it's related to automobile industry. What is the problem statement? Okay, my company right now stand as a manufacturing company, automobile, and there is some other competitor company that's a big giant, right? You've been asked to work on SWOT analysis and you need to do the similar activity. So you need to have some prerequisites in your minds first. That why I've given this SWOT analysis. First, what I am working into, I'm working in Toyota. So something related to car will be there. Okay. What this industry is specific to? Okay. Manufacturing industry of cars. Okay. I am working in the manufacturing industry, so I need to look out for other companies. Okay. I am Toyota now. So what all the other brands are there in the market? Audi, Jaguar, Mercedes, BMW. These are my competitor brands now. That's the third point that comes to your mind. Fourth thing is, are we only talking about the cars or are we talking about the luxury cars? Because if you talk about like Maserati or if you talk about Ford, Mustangs and all those, they are all into the luxury brands. And if I talk about simple cars like Suzuki or like Hyundai, and these are not the luxury brands. So you need to make sure what's the demand has been asked you for. Based upon your problem statement, you need to look out for a solution. And that solution should have a valid business points. And now working on each quarter, now you to think, okay, when I'm looking out for strength, what all the strength of that particular company in that manufacturing industry? It could be strength can be even one more thing. They have 5 manufacturing plants. They are producing like 100 cars within a day. Whereas Toyota is just like manufacturing 20 cars a day. That would be even their strength. Within a month, they produce around manufacture around 10,000 cars, but they only have 2 production plants. Whereas Toyota has 5 manufacturing plants, but we still produces 5,000 cars a month. Why there is a gap of 5,000? So once you're gonna put out all these facts, right, to the client gonna ask you, hey, now just think about it. You have created this document and you present it out to someone. How he gonna analyze? Okay, being as a Toyota, you did that for a BMW, and you added one of the points in that BMW has a bigger strength that they only have 2 manufacturing plants, but their outcomes are they are giving 10,000 manufacturing of cars within a month. Whereas our company Toyota has 5 plants, but we still only manufactures 5,000. Now, how the business going to react in this? Business guy going to say, why that is there? We have 3 plants and we are still manufacturing 5,000, and BMW just have only 1 plant and they're manufacturing 10,000. But our brand and their brand are on the same level. So what is something wrong that we are doing it? So they get your point and they want the answer to that. So you get my point? How they identified that problem statement? Because you have did the competitive analysis. Got it? So this is how the clients come out with their outcomes, find out the desired solution, and now what he's gonna do now next is he's gonna give you, hey, you bring up the good points. Now can you analyze more on finding me how they are manufacturing 10,000 cars within a month with just manufacturing plant? And we have 5 manufacturing plants. Still, we are just manufacturing 5,000 cars. Why is the difference of 5,000? Then you again gonna go into the next analysis. Again, you want to make sure now what's your client has asked you. Now he wants to concentrate only on why the difference is there, why it's 5,000, and what they are doing special that even after we are having 5,000, 5 manufacturing plants, we are having half the capacity of them. So now your new business problem statement is manufacturing and a gap of 5,000, right? So every time your goal or your like business statement is changing in, and if dependingly you need to think around it. So that's why I've always said before getting into any work, just try to first analyze what is your problem statement, then accordingly react to it. Okay, just simply don't go by research that okay, somebody talked to me about going with Tesla, so you start going and writing out points, good, bad, you're not thinking about anything. Okay, that's good, here's a luxury brand, you added all these points. No, just look for the problem statement, what the client actually wants from you. And if you're not giving them what has been asked for, they're not going to be happy with you, or nobody's going to like your analysis as well. So that's why I mentioned you need to work with a business mindset, technical thoughts, business understanding, analytical skills, problem solving skills, target oriented skills. So BA, if I talk about, 80% is the role of your mindset thinking, technically thinking as a BA, thinking as a business mindset, thinking with outcomes understanding, thinking with the decision making powers, problem solving powers, thinking from the angle of like how I can resolve the client problems. Because whenever you give a solution to some problem, that's going to bring business to you. Because one line simple for the BA as for business is always given. Where there is a problem, there is a business. Who solves this gets the money. Is that simple for a business? There is a problem, there is a solution to it. And that is the opportunity for a business. Since we don't have e-commerce, we are not getting our products being delivered at our home. Now we have an e-commerce solution. We are getting every product at our home being delivered within a day using Amazon. Be it's like anything. In this pandemic situation, even they are delivering things. But if you talk go 10 years back or 15 years back, we don't have that solution. So he identified a problem statement, proposed out a solution, it started working in, and now he's generating money from that. So this is how that goes in. So now let's move on to the next analysis, which we call as MOST analysis. Now, what do you stand by MOST? So MOST stands for Mission, Objective, Strategy, and Tactics. This MOST analysis is being these 4 elements, or the company is being analyzed or comprises of 4 elements. Any company, be it it's recommended, in under what situation this has been used. The MOST analysis is always needs to ensure and recommended solutions to verify the organization needs, its objectives and mission, and making sure that all your operations, all your projects are working on the same mission, objectives, and strategies. Every company has its own vision, mission, objectives, and strategies. So we need to make sure whatever the operations, your ideology, your working culture, your kind of work, your operations, handling clients, or talking about like how your things works, all works on the same ideology, or your objectives or your missions or your strategies are reflecting by your work. Suppose like you are a very customer centric company, you're a very employee centric company, so that would be shown using your actions or performance, whatever you're doing in. So let's talk about what comes under the most. So when we are talking about the most analysis, right, we are talking about the mission of the company. What is the mission of the top level? What are the business defines the outcomes? The more the specific the business, the more is the defined mission, and the more success the business will be getting in terms of pointing out with the tools. What is your mission right now? How you want to grow? You want to become the one of the most IT solution company in the world, right? That's gonna be the company's mission. What are your company's objective? Like stepping down to the missions, collective individual goals, right? Making smart decisions, planning in future, objective, measurables, right? Making smart goals, right? Make sure the objective should be specifically what all your objectives. We'll talk about the SMART as well in the later sessions. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So with this, we need to have the clear expectation around our objectives. Our objectives should be very specific, measurable, realistic, and timely. You need to make sure your goal creeps is well put it up. It should not be fuzzy or like confusing statements. It's it needs to be clear. It should not be fuzzy or difficult to understand. It should be very clear, like what's the team objective or the company's analysis is. What's the strategy you're gonna you follow on? What all your action plans are. How quickly you're gonna work on your tactics and improve the way. What all will be the different methods or the techniques that you will be using for strategies. Process that can be easily understood, carried over to the people's and high level of the most analysis. So now with this most, you need to make sure whenever you have your mission, vision, objective, and tactics of a company that should be clearly defined and we identify what is there in that most analysis. So for you, a mix of like a strategy document comes in picture that BA usually creates in whenever you need to find out any company's profile or you want to like review your own profile. So what all the organization's aspirations for the future will be coming under the vision. If you want to identify the company's vision, what is your company's vision? What is your mission of the company? What is the organization fundamental purpose? Why it's been created? What are their long-term goals? So it should be clearly articulated with the mission part of it. Then comes as vision, mission, opportunities and threats. So in opportunities, you talk about the strengths, right? So what all the different opportunities, strategies that they have in place. Using the SWOT analysis, you will be doing that. Then there are going to be certain internal or external analysis where you're going to find out their opportunities, their weakness, and their strengths. So in order to do that, you need to find out their appropriate strategies. What all the strategies they have in place, like their mission, thought process, their opportunities, what they are looking for, what they are targeting into, that all falls under the opportunity sections. To overcome their weakness, what all the tactics they're going to use in, right? How they're going to use it, what the best possible way will be using it are going to be all being taken care as part of the most analysis. This kind of analysis is being used out basically when you are like taking a look at some competitor profile or you want to take care of your own company or you want to compare your company with some other company and check that out what's their mission, how long they want to go in, or you want to create or describe someone's company profile. These kinds of analysis even do comes in picture when one of your clients comes in and ask you, hey, I'm there as like one of the directors of like this company and we want like an e-commerce platform to be created. So will you guys, can you send me the brochure or like the basic details around what we can do, what all the technologies you guys support, and how we can accomplish that? Can we have a short tender like brochures from your end, or can you help me with if we really want to get into agreement? What all will be the areas that you're gonna go in? So being as a BA, you will not start like commenting right away, like how you will be dealing with that or not, or uh, what all the proposed solutions you have. Yes, you're gonna give some introduction sessions, but it's not about you will be open on the first call itself. So for such things, you'll be first analyzing the client's company only. That how big that company is. Is it a startup? Is it an IT firm? Is it a non-IT firm? It's a production firm. It's like what reason they are looking for, how much business they have, what is their business criteria, how much budget they have. So based upon all these areas, you're going to analyze their company. So in such cases, the most analysis is highly recommended and used out. So in the most, as I mentioned, we talked about the vision and mission first. What's the company's mission? What's the company vision? So you talk about what your future plans are, what all the company aspirations are, what all the company's fundamental purpose, like why this company is being created, what is your mission? Because every organization, every enterprise has its mission and objectives, right? Why we created, what we want to become in future, right? Why we get into all these deals, right? Why the company is being created. So that is their vision and mission. And the employee of that company needs to work in that same area or domain, or your visions, missions, and your goals, strategies should reflect from the work that you are doing in, right? Then we move on to the SWOT analysis. What all the different SWOT analysis, develop the appropriate strategies, right? With that strategies, you're going to identify what's their strengths and weaknesses are, their opportunities and threats are. These analysis will be based upon like how they are operating right now, on what principles they are working in, right? On what technologies they have worked in, to which clients they have their contacts with, or who are their specialized clients that they have their deals with. Are they only targeting the top notch brands? What kind of brands they are associated with? What all the different appropriate strategies that they are using, and are they using the third party tools and directly dealing with their clients, or they're creating their in-house products and then dealing out with the clients? Are these guys the third party manufacturers, or they are the like the local manufacturers? Are they technology driven? Are they are not technology driven? Are they only working into the support culture, or they are not? So with these areas, we will define any company's profile, strength, strategies, and vision and mission. And based upon that, we will create a profile of that company that will help us analyze like where it stands there in the market. Right? It seems like if we want to analyze like where Tesla stands in market comparing to other electric brand, so you can see if there is going to be some other like local electric brands, Tesla stands at the first level. Whereas if I talk about other electric brands, it will be there at some like lower levels than that. So we'll be able to know that okay, it's not Tesla, it's not one of the top-notch brands, it's but like a starter or like startup company like that. Okay, so moving on to the next, we have is PESTLE analysis. So the PESTLE analysis stands for PEST, right? Called as the PEST analysis. Tool is to identify, analyze the key drivers of the change in the strategies. The analysis look at the driver factors, following how it's happening in that area, what all the influence that's been made, recommended BAs, and what gives the organization. Now, what do we mean by pastel analysis? So the word starts with pastel. So that means political. E stands for economical. S stands for social. T stands for technology. L stands for legal. E stands for environmental. And, and at the last, use, how we are using this analysis. So pastel analysis. So these kinds of analysis are usually recommended or happening in areas where you need to make a decision that whether same as take that earlier situation only, one of the client reaches you up, you now finalized on all areas like okay, whatever they have been asked for we can get it done. They want e-commerce platform to be created. Yes, we have a specialized knowledge and understanding, right? Everything is there, right? We can enter into agreement with these guys. So let's talk about their funds, talk about their, and you finalize on every aspect. Now the stage has come in where you need to put down a final agreement with them in terms of like delivering work and everything, in terms of cost, delivering and everything. Now, before making a final decision that you're really gonna get into contract, a legal contract, a compliance contract with them, pastel analysis comes in picture. Again, now the BA comes in picture. And by these analysis, you can even see how important the role of a BA now started becoming in. BA is further right now involved into analysis. Then he finds out the company analysis. Then he moves on with the most analysis. And now he's always involved with the pastoral analysis. And now see the situation over here is you need to now involve with the business for taking a decision making. And for that, you want to provide them with the information and the facts and figures. Based upon your reports, only senior management, your senior officials, or other folks will be taking a final call. So think yourself how important you are, how you are limelighted into the business, how you are related to each and every senior folks within the company, and getting your work being done. So that's the importance or like best part of the BA, that you will be involved into such kinds of activities as well. So talking about the political part, so we need to first understand what factors may influence this project. Political landscapes, environmental in the business, how political impact gonna make a change in that business. So talking about the latest, when the Google CEO Sundar Pichai has been asked to like question out in front of the whole Congress committee in US. So that impacted out their business. Their shares in the NYSE stock exchange have really gone down just because of the similar activity, because they may end up into any legal issues, or they're gonna or the Congress gonna impose some fines on that. So that had led to like close to like $70. Their shares have gone down during those days in NYSE. That is something, the political impact, because they are trying, because they are like selling out your data to other Korean companies, and that may impact the political decisions powers. So that's even happens for Facebook as well. They are selling out their information when the Trump recently became the president, and then they're trying to manipulate the Korean elections and write all those other things. So that impose certain fines on them. So whenever you're getting into contracts, you need to even make sure if that fine is imposed, that will be even some part of it will be coming on you. Are you taking care of that, or you are adding such as clauses that these political impacts, if come in, what's gonna be the final call on those? That's sort of an political impact on a project. Talking about the economic, how the economic factors are working right now that in the market, how it's gonna make the difference in your project. What can happen if there is some economical impact comes in? Like you can take the situation of this COVID-19 situation right now. So you've seen there is a huge fall in business. Finance is totally out of the market. People are losing their jobs, right? What about these kinds of factors? Are we really keeping them all in well in time? Are the factors related to economics for the international markets as well as for the domestic market where you want to go with the business? Is the client well enough or full furnished with economic factors? Is he having all the necessary details around it? Or he's having all the mandatory funds? You need to do that analysis as well. How you're going with the contract? Are you going with like three levels of payment models, or you're going with multiple payment models, or it's delivery based model? Like whenever you're going to deliver, and based upon that, you will be release out the funds from the client. You need to make sure that the client is having enough funds. Its profile is good. How they are going to do that? Are we dependent on any market conditions? If the project is something related to like trades, let's say it's going to be more about like creating a trading platform. It's talking about making more about commodity trading, right? It's about import and export of business through shipping or like industry. So such cases, economic factors comes in picture heavily. Aerograph business, pharma companies, you are ending up into patents, right? You keep on filing multiple patents, but none of them bringing up the business. Are they still ready to pay you the for all the bills? Because you're not generating money on the day first, but the same patents will earn money like after 10 years of 20 years. So are we okay with that? Is the client still format, or they want like once they're gonna start earning, then only they're gonna pay you up? So any kind of contracts or like figures may come in picture. So you need to make sure that you are even taking care of the economic factors as well. Next is any social aspects of it, like the cultural aspects, the most important you need to pay attention to. Are you been into any social impact? Like one of the important factors I can let you know, you must have heard about the Robin Wood, right? For Accenture CEO. He went into some personal issues with his wife, and later they went into any clauses, and Accenture finally made him out of the company just because of his bad profiles and putting it up wrong words in front of the public or giving wrong statements that ruin the image of Accenture as well. So they moved him out. And one of the most like famous golf players. So these are like certain social impacts, like how your company deals with what kind of a marketing strategies they are into. So that kind of PESTLE analysis comes in picture. What all the technology space they are working in, what all they are good at, what all your local infrastructures are there, What is your business good at? Are you just a client or you have your technology base? You don't have your technology base. Are you using the older technology or the new one? That should be analyzed. What all your legal formalities are. Are you into very specific business of like mining, aerospace, pharma, where you won't always all together compliant with all physical compliance issues, right? Uh, uh, Breach issues or like any specific governmental issues or regulatory issues that needs to be changed or keep on changing within certain time durations, or it's all market driven. All such types of legal activities and regulations needs to be given into picture. What about in these legal activities, whatever the clients or like the project we are going in, is any sort of like information related to clients, their personal info are related in these kinds of scenario? If yes, we need to take care of that as well. What if we lose something? Are we going to get into any legal implications? If yes, we're going to get prepared for that. We need to check with our compliance team that, hey, we are trying to get into this agreement. Are we good to go with that legal issues? Are we compliant with that? If not, we can't do that. Like especially for pharma sectors, or if you talk about pharma industry, none of the IT company, even if they have the potential and the technology, they can't work in if they don't have the HIPAA certification. That's specifically there for pharma industry or the healthcare industry, I would say. So if the company is HIPAA certified, then only they can even work on their products. If they don't have, they can't work. But now I'm saying with a certification, it's very specific to few areas. So if your company getting is being reached out by someone around some projects, you can't do it unless you don't have the HIPAA certification. So next comes is some environmental factors like how the business is going in and what industry you are. Whatever the industry that's coming in or reaching out to you is really at the booming level or it's like among the dropped ones. It's just like right now the all the car manufacturers are looking out for electric or alternate vehicles, right? CO2, self-driven cars. None of them talking about any petrol and diesel vehicles going forward now. Everybody wants to go with like electric or environment friendly vehicles. So if you are entering into that business, all right, based upon like the current situations, you need to make sure that this is something that's outdated now that in the market. Every company is now challenging towards going with an electric mode, but only towards getting eco-friendly towards it. Some working on solar, some working on gases, others working on electric modes. So all these factors help you go with the best analysis. And that can be done on any sort of project, company, or level of work that you're working in. Let me give you one of the good examples. I think everybody have heard about the company name Adidas. And you must have heard about one of the biggest football club called as Manchester United. So now what the Adidas plays a role is, right now you have heard about the Adidas, but Adidas in the market comes up with the three brands. One is Adidas Sports, one is Adidas, and the third one is Adidas Original. Okay. So you must have even seen that Adidas it's good in like running shoes or sport shoes, but you have not much seen this shoe used out in the football industry. Whereas if you go with the PESTLE analysis or with with like the SWOT analysis, you will find the major consumers or the market of the shoes is being done by the football players or by the football leagues or like people associated to football. Their heaviest consumers are among the football peoples. So what Adidas, being as a company, made a smart role here is they have their brand Adidas and Adidas Original. They created out their sub brand called Adidas Sports. So if you go on Google and research more, you will be finding all these three brands now. What's special he does, Manchester United has a like a contract with other brand company called Nike. That's a competitor of Adidas, and they have a agreement with Manchester United for the past like 80 years that for any leagues, their shoe will be used out in every Manchester clubs, their football leagues, and any of their football World Cups as well. Even if you are a Manchester fan, you must have seen their T-shirts with the Nike symbol on them. Anyway, you're seeing Manchester United, their symbol of Nike is even associated with them. Now, Being as a competitor player, he did their PESTLE and SWOT analysis, and they finally end up with a new brand called Adidas Sports so that they can enter the football industry. And they paid Manchester United double the price that Nike is paying in to get that contract like defeated out. So now going forward, starting 2022, you will be seeing Adidas brand on the Manchester t-shirts, on football leagues, and even on the shoes. So this is one of the best example of a pestle analysis that they came up. With the pestle analysis, they went into all these details and they finally taken this decision of coming up into the Manchester club and increasing out their sales revenue. And all has been done using the pestle analysis. They talked about the environmental issues. They talked about the economical factor. They talked about their legal rights as well. And they end up into that contract with like the Nike. And since to improve their sales and their brand value, they created out a new product within their company itself called Adidas Sports so that they can target the biggest market. So now going forward, you will be seeing Adidas brand tagged to any football t-shirts for Manchester United starting 2022. Whatever the league going forward after 2022 will be happening in, you'll be seeing Adidas logos on their t-shirts, their sports shoes, and they will be like the official partners of Manchester United. This a smart strategy that they have did it, and it's really when this case comes in, everybody is like very shocked, and they made a smart move in that cases. Okay, so let's move on to the next we have is root cause analysis, which we even call it as 5 whys. So this is one of the techniques that's been even used out by the Six Sigma certification techniques that analyze the issue, right? Why we are having this issue and how we can propose a solution to it. So it's one of the ways as to find out what is the root cause and what is going to be the possible solutions, right? So which is even in the phases of like Six Sigmas with DMSIC, which is called as define, measure, analyze, improve, and control method or a methodology. With this, if you're going to have any innovative data solution or a issue is there, we're going to talk about 5 whys and going to understand what is the problem statement, how we can measure it, how we can improve it and control it, right? These kinds of cause analysis helps us when we are there into any problem statements. What is basically the problem? So usually you must have seen people are coming up with a problem and we're just giving them with a solution. That's something in human ideology as well, that oh, I'm having pain and okay, just take aspirins, okay, just take some paracetamols or something like that. So in such situations, similarly in the business there are multiple issues. So in business, recommend it that you don't propose a solution right away to the client, because usually how that situation gonna come is client gonna interact with you, and since you're talking over Skype, you're talking over mobile, or like one or the other way, you're talking with the client, they're gonna straight away, hey, I have this problem statement. Do you have a solution to it? Hey, I have this problem statement. I'm facing this issues. Do you have a problem statement? It's not as simple as you're just facing a pain. It's business. We're talking about business. So don't propose them a solution until or unless you have clearly understand the business problem. So this is one of the area that BA even needs to keep in picture, right? The moment he will be joining in the organization, he'll be doing this most analysis, SWOT analysis. He will be start even interacting with the client. And the client is like a nightmare. Client always comes, hey, I'm one of your clients. I'm facing this issue. Last night I got this dream. Can you help me get this problem solved? Because he thinks or he has a basic understanding in his mind, like why he's reaching out is just for a solution. But you need to make sure that's your client, the customer to whom you need to cater. And any wrong information being circulated or without maturity or without you have not gone into the details, if you're proposing them solutions, that's going to ruin your image. Or the client may not like that. Instead, if you're taking time and proposing them a solution, that is acceptable and as ethical as well. Because client is smart enough. Client simply reaches out to you and talks straightforward around what they need. And they check out for do we have that desired solutions or not. So for such cases, we need to use 5 whys basically. Now how that use? I've taken out a basic example so that you guys can better understand. You paid some fine. Why I paid some fines? Because you are late to the class, right? What happened like the morning today you came in and I will say, hey, okay, Ashwini, you're gonna pay me $500. Martina, you're gonna pay me like $1,000, right? And I'm gonna ask like Kamra, you're gonna pay me like $2,000. And it was like, hey, what happened, Dan? It was a like second class and you started asking for money. What is the problem? And why are we in charge out for that? So straight away the why comes in picture now. Why we are paid in, why the fine is there. Then the why comes in. We find out the answer to that why. Because you are late to the class. Okay? But why you are late to the class? Because I got up late. What do you mean by got up late? What made you happen? Because the timings are already clear for the whole batch that you have to be there at exact 9 o'clock. What is the problem? Oh, I got up late just because my alarm didn't work out. Oh, your alarm didn't work out. Why that happens? Because you need to make sure for your next 30 days, you need to be all on time because you need to be part of the batch and make sure you are getting all the things being done. Then you finally identified that why it happens is just because my battery got over. So you have seen, I've talked about these 5 whys here. Why the paid the fine, why the class is late, why you got up late, because your alarm didn't went and your batteries are over. So you went with 5 whys and you find out the solutions. And finally, you came up with a solution that the new batteries needs to be replaced in the alarm clock. Although it's like a very generic example I've taken in, but just to help you understand where the why comes in pictures in such kinds of situations. Now I'm moving towards a mature example. Talking about the client reaches out to you and say, hey, I already have a tool in place. I'm working with some of the other vendors. They help me out with the e-commerce platform where we have a profile page for a client. But what the problem is, we can't upload an image in our profiles, although we have a section where the client can upload a picture and they can upload it out on the dashboard. But what is happening is when they try to do that, they don't end up into uploading a picture, right? And the vendor has not done yet the remarkable job that we are really looking out for. So we want you as a vendor to get into the same business or like in the same deal and improve the existing product. So now
Yes.
just think about the situation. It's something that some other vendor has already developed it. You are into the situation. You've been reached out by the some other client that, hey, something we have a developing product or a working product, but it's half baked. It's not fully made or it's fully not operational. And we have we have like terminated the agreement with the other vendor. Now we've been asked like your company to take a look at it, or we earlier reaches you out to you and you showed your interest. We need to now know that if we get into your agreement with your company, how we can get this done. And these are the things that the other vendor has already developed, and this could be the possible things that we really wanted. And they're going to help you with a list of whys that what happened or what the problem statements are. Then in such cases you're going to first analyze what what is the why means, like what all the problems they are facing in the current system, why that is happening. In have they used the older technologies, have they not used the right codes, have they not used the right technology, are they have not used the business logic. Okay, if that's the case, right, why are the servers not good, why they enter into business, why they are not able to upload the image, is the file size small or is it not small, or they don't have this functionality, or they have not used the basic fundamental code techniques that needs to be used, they've used the databases or not. And based upon that you're going to finally propose them a solution, a detailed solution that yes, the existing product can itself be refined, and these are all the problems we have identified using the whys, And if you're going to improve on these whys, we're going to get the solution proposed as your existing product will be started working in with new desired capabilities additional to what we have earlier. Now you must have even seen like how our mindset even started working in now with the ideology of a business. Keep on asking of why, what, why happening in, right? We are working towards solution oriented approaches, right? Problem solving approaches, decision making approaches, business intentional approaches, thinking from the mindset of a client, thinking from the ideology of a business, thinking from the ideology of proposing a solution. So with this all analysis, you're getting data, you're based upon that data, you are making some decisions, you're proposing some decisions, you're identifying some root cause, you're helping analyze the data, you're helping analyze what is there at the back end, what may impact and what may not impact, what will be the situation that gonna impact. So these kinds of ideology have started developing in your everyone's mind, and these are something the key skills of a BA. That's interviewer or a company looks out for. And this is how your even the interviews will be even been initiated. Nobody's going to ask you direct questions like, hey, what do you mean by PESTLE analysis? No, it's going to be the question like that. Hey, what happens if there are going to be some environmental factors? Under what analysis is going to be there? Is it only going to be the environmental factors that's going to make an impact or a change? Just think about it. The same question, they're talking about environmental factors only. It's talking about PESTLE only, but how they change the format of a question. So this is how you need to smartly play. This is how your mindset to start working in business, propose solution, why, analysis, root cause, and the proposed solution out of it. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Other than these analysis, we even went into brainstorming sessions where we sit together with the whole team, other persons there in the company, senior folks. We talk about the root cause analysis, their mindsets, their thought process. We end up into brainstorming sessions, identify the technical ideas, look out for new innovative ideas from anyone, juggle around, or like we talk about sharing our ideas with the others and find out like whether it's workable, it's not workable. I'm thinking in that aspect whether that will be workable or not. Sometimes we do have the brainstorming session even with the clients when we're proposing them solutions. So this is one of the other way of doing the analysis as well. So what all the tools that's been used out in the IT business analysis. So one of the most important tool is called Jira. That's a task management as for business analyst, where you can create out your tasks, what you are doing in. Even Jira is being used out for bug tracking tool, right? One of the tools that's been used out by the QAs for creating out or tracking their test cases, use cases. And for BA, it's been used out for finding out their tasks, management, keeping their documents, and other information related to product. So this tool totally depends upon like what your organization is using it. It's a pretty simple tool. And if you want, you can download from this URL. It's mentioned over there, although you will be getting just a day trial in that case, but it's simply depends upon what your organization is into. And always whenever you've been onboarded, you're getting such trainings around like how you're gonna get into. These are simple UI tools where users need to click on certain symbols and you will be able to add your task. So these are certain supporting tools that helps you during your operations. When you're setting up meetings, you're putting up your tasks, you're adding details around the project, or you're making some quick measurables around your performance reviews and how you're working in and what's your goals and individual things. We use all those. Another tool that we use out for BA when we are creating our mockups is Balsamic. It's one of the most important tool that's been used out for mockups creation, for like collaborative UX diagrams, how your UI gonna look like. We use the Balsamic tools. It's used for creating wireframes, mockups, interactive UI diagrams, extensive libraries, and download applications. And this is the download link for a Balsamic. So we have a proper class on this tool Balsamic in our like a fewer upcoming sessions. We'll be talking properly around the Balsamic. We will be downloading that tool even, and I will be helping you draw certain UI diagrams on the classes itself. And post that, you will be even been asked to develop certain UI UX diagrams as well. Then we have Microsoft Visio that's been used out for creating flow diagrams or flow charts. So we even have very specific class on Visio, two specific classes on Visio where I will be talking about swim lanes, what all the different swim lanes are, what all the connectors are, what are 3D mappings, how we interact with one lane to another lane, right? How the databases, Visios are created. So we'll be talking around those as well in our upcoming sessions. So then we have Caliber RM. That is a way old long tool. It's now not being used out there in the market, but just for your information purpose, it's also one of the collaborative model that helps in impact analysis, communication management, and change in requirements. That's basically been used out for requirement gathering, change in requirements, and requirement management tools. So right now, since Agile is now there in the picture, we are directly moving on into creating user stories. So with Agile, we are entering up into less of the documentation and more of the implementation part. So what all the basic skills that are required in for a business analyst? So we talked about understanding the objectives, needs to have a good verbal and communication skills. The ability to run stakeholders meetings, interact with stakeholders is one of the important skills that a BA needs to have. A BA needs to be a good listener as well, right? He needs to talk about, needs to understand others before speaking in. So that's I mentioned, don't propose them a solution right away. Handling the stakeholder is another important topic because stakeholder always thinks that you are only coming up with a solution proposed. So make sure you first understand the situation, then you speak about it. You need to make sure that you have all the right presentable skills. When to talk about, what to talk about, how to talk about is another important presentation skills. How you present in, what the content needs to be there, what is specific. As I mentioned today in like SWOT analysis, we we will it's good to have bullet points instead of writing whole lot of sentences because clients always look out for proposed solutions. So be very specific, target, and your content needs to be clear and crisp around what you really want to talk about. Then you have some excellent time management, documentations and skills, stakeholder management, and develop your modeling skills as well. So these are some of the important skills that a BA needs to have in. So talking about, I think yesterday someone asked me like, what is the career path of a BA? So this is a slide that I'm talking about. So what all the different career the BA can be into. It can be there as an operational head who's part of the business strategy of the enterprise, analysis, the business strategy, creating a product, uh, creating the recommended solutions. So you can act as an operation head of a BA. You can act as an enterprise or a business architect who starts the career with a BA, moving towards a leads role, finding out the business activities within an organization. He can be there as a product owner, the person who analyzes the business of an IT company, develops, becomes the product owner, managed through the BA path. It's like part of the product owner. Then we have practice heads in charge of practice with similar constraints of company, establish the process, analysis, invites for center of excellence and business knowledge. It's part of the practice heads. Then we have program managers that look for technical and other aspects of the company with some domain understanding and IT knowledge. Then some of the companies we do have BAs as a delivery heads as well. They look out for like deliveries from the technical background prospect and from like the business prospect. Then we have consulting roles where we are having clients being tagged to individual BAs and whatever they are coming up with their like problem statements or issues, we are proposing them with the solutions out of it. So these are different roles of a BA on a maturity level that we enters into, and that's your career path even. You can choose any of your roles and you can be on the senior leads positions or like the managerial directors position within any company.
JanBask training. Learn and grow.